Okay, I'm Kanai, and today we're with
Adel.
Amazing. Tell me about your photography and the stuff you do.
Yeah, I generally shoot film. I like to shoot medium format when I can. I don't really shoot professionally very much. I'm mostly just for fun. And if people want me to do shoots, I mostly make sure they don't pay me because I like to have more creative control, and I don't like to be like answering to anybody.
Okay, I feel like that we're going into a different direction than what I planned, but like,
Yeah.
What is it about paid shoots that you don't like?
I like them when we have like a mutual understanding of like what my role is going to be and what I'm going to do. But like I'm somebody who'll spend like between half an hour to 2-3 hours editing one photo because I like really go in on the details. I'll like spend a long time masking and painting stuff out because that's just like that's like the process that I enjoy doing.
Okay.
And that's like part of what I like out of photography, to like really work on one image. So it's not very conducive to like a professional environment, to like working. So I'm like, if you're paying me to shoot something, you know that you are either not getting a lot of photos,
right,
or that I'm gonna only edit the ones that I want to edit, or maybe we'll have like an agreed amount that they'll be like, I'll pick this many and then I'll do those ones, but like it's gonna be a small number, that kind of thing. You know?
That's interesting. I feel like for me, when I do paid shoots, it's like I actually need to provide good results. And it's like a lot more pressure, even when I'm shooting and like when I'm editing too.
Yeah.
But when it's like an on-paid shoot, then I can just do whatever. And even if they don't turn out great, it's fine. Like there's no consequences.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the nice thing is, even if it is like something semi-important, like what I will do is I'll ask them to cover my film, because that's expensive. I'm not just gonna eat that price.
Yeah.
But I don't get them to pay for my time.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Occasionally, very occasionally, only if it's like the right project where they're like, please let me pay you, which has happened.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
It's valid. Like obviously you take good photos, and like someone needs to like, acknowledge that in some way or another. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is that like it gives me flexibility to just like, if I'm not creatively interested in a project, I just don't do it, right? Because I'm like, well, it's my time, it's like my energy. I only put it in if it's like something I actually care about.
And like even then, I feel like at this point, it's kind of like a responsibility as a photographer. Like let's say someone's reaching out to you and they're like ready to pay, but then if you don't feel like your project is going to be fun for you, I'm okay not taking that.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
like it should be fun for me, and like I like that I'm able to receive money doing things I like.
Totally.
And it's just not worth it if it's like something that I don't really like doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
For sure.
Anyways.
Yeah.
To my original questions.
Yeah.
What cameras do you have?
Oh, do you want me to just like start listing them all?
Yeah.
Okay. The functional ones or the non-functional ones included? So we'll start with this one. This is one of my favorite cameras. This is a Fuji GA645ZI. It's a medium format point and shoot film camera, which I love to use because I love using point and shoots. But I also have a Pentax 6x7 if I feel like being more manual. Those are like my two favorites.
Is that the big one?
That's the big one, yeah. Which I was gonna bring today, but I didn't want to lug it around all day. It has its own backpack.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that one I didn't bring, but I love that camera. I have a Minolta XG9, which is my go-to like 35mm SLR. I have a Minolta X700, which has the film counter is broken, so I use it if I need a second camera. I have a Canon SureShot 76 zoom point and shoot. I have a
That's a film camera?
Film camera, yeah. The little one, yeah, it's a film camera. I have a Fuji DL25N, I think. I don't know if that's what it's actually called. It's one of the drop-in load point and shoots. It's actually so sick. You just like drop the film in and it like is good to go. It's pretty cool. Those are like, okay, what else do I have? I have a Polaroid. I don't know which model, just a Polaroid 600 camera. Okay. I have an Instax wide 400. That might be it for film cameras that work. But I also have a digital camera. I have a Canon 90D.
Are you like a lens person? Like, do you go into like lenses or no?
I'm not really a lens person, like especially for film, because I have so many different cameras. They're also cheap. That's the nice thing about film cameras is, well, not this one, but
you're gonna get eaten for that comment.
well, okay, no. Relative to digital cameras, they're cheap.
The bodies.
Yes, the bodies are cheap. Yes, not shooting film, definitely not.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's also cheaper to buy lenses for them too. But I just would rather. I'm more interested in like buying new bodies than buying lenses. So usually the body will just come with a new lens. I'll just shoot a different body.
And what's your favorite camera?
It's either this guy or my Pentax 6x7. in terms of, okay, so the Pentax 6x7 takes better photos. This is more fun to use.
What do you mean it takes better photos? Like,
Well, I
in
just
terms
like
of what?
I like the results I get with it better.
Like
It's obviously
colors or like resolution?
Well, colors are going to be the same because it's going to be a different film, the same film and the different cameras. But the resolution, so a 6x7 negative is a lot larger than a 645 negative on here. 645 is like maybe this big, and 6x7 is like this big. So it's a lot larger. I have the f2.4 lens, I think, which on a 6x7 camera, you get like a really, this is very nerdy. You get a really shallow depth of field. So like for portraits, it looks like stunning, and there's like no other way to get a look like that, really.
Okay.
It's a 105 f2.4, I believe. But yeah, but you get the same field of view as like a 50mm lens because it's on such a big image.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really nice. It's like as usable as a 50, but with like a 105 look, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Do you have like a specific film camera brand that you like to go for?
For film, like SLR point and shoots, I'm Minolta gang, Minolta gang strong. For no particular reason other than it was my first one, and that's just what I've kind of built my collection around, which is I have one more of them. That's the extent of the Minolta collection. I like those cameras. If we're talking digital, I've always been a Canon person, which I'm probably gonna get roasted for, but Canon used to be the good stuff.
They're still good.
I mean, yeah, they are still good. I'm not super up to date on the mirrorless stuff anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like nowadays you should always go for mirrorless cameras.
For sure. Like if I upgrade, I'm definitely gonna go. If I upgrade digital, which okay, here's an interesting topic of conversation. I shot digital for the first time in a long time recently.
Okay, how did that go?
I used Saif's,
what is it,
ZF? Yeah,
Nikon ZF.
I used his Nikon ZF.
I like that I know what cameras people have at this point because I'm like, I know what you shoot on.
Well, he did make that like 20-minute video.
Yeah, no, it was like a 40 minutes.
It was 40 minutes. Shout out Saif.
Yeah.
So I used his camera, and it reminded me both why I love shooting digital and also why I hate shooting digital, and I'll tell you exactly why. So, so I love digital because I love shooting with digital because it's so like you can be a lot more flexible in the moment. You get that immediate feedback of like, well, I like not getting immediate feedback too, but I also do like it in the sense of like, oh, I can see what I did there. Okay, I don't like this. Let me adjust immediately. Make sure you get the shot you like.
Yeah.
But I also what I don't like about digital is when you come back home and you open up the photos on your computer and then you start trying to go through them. I hate that process when I shoot digital because there's so much like first of all, you'll be like choosing between like two of the same, almost the same images, and you like go back and forth a million times.
Yeah.
And that process it's like I don't even want to, like I get home and I don't even want to look at these photos because I know I'm gonna have to do this. You know what I mean? It just kills the joy for me.
I mean, the thing is, if you're just taking street snaps, for example, you can shoot it, like you can treat it almost like taking out your film camera. You can just be super deliberate about your composition and like what you're gonna shoot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't do that with portrait shoots because people are moving and there's a lot more to it, like especially when you're doing page shoots, like you need to get spam shutters, you have to. But I mean, street snaps.
That's true. I haven't, again, like it is really fun. That was funny. No, it is really fun shooting digital. Like the process of it, it's like so much more fluid. And oh, bro, we were in a studio shoot for that, and like being able to shoot in low light and like not have to like be on a tripod because like you can just crank the ISO is way better than on my 90D. You can crank the ISO to like a bajillion and it doesn't even matter. And then you can also underexpose by like 10 stops and it also doesn't matter. You can still bring back all the data.
I feel like, okay, here's what I like and what I don't like about film. So what I like about it is like, obviously the colors are really good. And even if you have a shitty photo, it still makes it look good and aesthetic. So how I like to see it is when you shoot film, you don't necessarily have to be good at taking photos because the film colors, like that kind of features, just make it look good. However, when you're taking film, that's kind of like what I don't, okay, I don't hate it or like super like this part about film, but when I'm taking film photos, I'm definitely more conscious about what I'm taking photos of and like how I want to like compose it. So I like that part because I'm like, you know, like taking it slow and trying to be more deliberate about the photos that I'm taking.
Yeah. So that's like what you like and dislike. Interesting. I kind of disagree with. You can just kind of take photos of whatever and it looks aesthetic. Like, I mean, it does, kind of. I don't think that means.
Okay, I'm only saying. Okay, what I'm talking about. Most
I've definitely taken bad film photos. Let's just say that.
Like, let's say you look at like disposable point and shoot film cameras. And people just take them all the time. Like, they're not like photographers, but people just take them all the time. Yeah. And the photos always turn out good. But then let's say like you were to take the same photo using a digital. Yeah. It's not gonna look as good.
Well, I'd argue you could. Sorry.
Because one, like it looks too crisp and like too exposed when you shoot digital.
Okay.
And the colors, like depending on how you process it in post, they're just not gonna look as aesthetic.
Okay.
Is my take.
I would argue that like what about like a digicam, like a 2000s digicam?
Same thing.
You would say that you still get the same effect of the digital camera or as a film camera?
No, okay, so those are like different aesthetics, but a shitty photo can still look better with those digicams. If you were to take that on like a mirrorless camera, like let's say mine, they're not gonna look as good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I think like that's kind of, well, I guess my point is it's not necessarily film, it's just the camera you're using. It's more like the shitty camera is kind of the aesthetic. It's not necessarily the fact that it's film. You know what I mean?
No.
No.
I get you. That's fair.
I was promised I would get cooked.
but then like when you look at good photographers, like it doesn't really matter what they shoot because they still take good photos. Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
What makes a photo a good photo?
Oh shit, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's this is a stupid answer, but it's kind of entirely subjective, right? You mean like just in my opinion?
Sure.
Sure. If it either is very technically proficient, I'd say that can make it good. That doesn't necessarily make it one of my favorites, but I think that kind of inherently makes it some level of quality. Yeah. Or if it makes you feel something. Or if it makes you feel something. Okay. You know what I mean?
Interesting, because I asked the same question to a different photographer and he said composition. Yeah. Always.
Oh, interesting.
But then I was like, I agree, but then I don't know if it's like the number one thing that I would think of when I'm thinking about what makes a good photo.
Like that's where my mind goes immediately, but I'm like, is that really what like is that really what like makes it good? You know what I mean? I don't think so. Because I know lots of photos that I love and that make me feel something. Yeah. That are like if you follow the rules of composition, are badly composed. You know what I mean? Or like sloppily composed or something.
I think I really like it. Like obviously well-composed photos, I like them, but I also really like it when something feels more intentional. Yeah. Like it could be poorly composed, but then if it feels like, okay, like this person obviously shot it this way because they had a vision. Yes. Like it's not just by coincidence.
Intentional rather than,
like I like that. Yeah. And also, what did you say? Makes you feel something. Yeah. I like that because it's like when I look at photos and if it makes me feel like I want to go out and take photos, that's a good photo for me.
That's huge. I think that's a great way of describing it because like, I mean, for me, it's the same thing with like any kind of art. If it makes me be like, oh, I want to like do that. Yeah. Then
you saw something good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree.
Ooh, okay. What about film that is better than digital in your opinion?
Oh, good question. That's a very good question. What about film is better than digital? So, well, first of all, there's the obvious answer, which is you can shoot larger formats than you can in digital. Well, like affordably, semi-affordably, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can shoot a 6x7, you could probably spend, I don't know, I'm gonna get cooked. I don't know the prices right now. I haven't looked in a while, but like, how much could you get? Like, what's a cheap 6x7 camera? Maybe like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
$800, something like film. That. Let's say $800, right? That still is way cheaper than like a medium format digital camera. Yeah. You could buy you buy a roll of film, you know, and development, maybe $30-$40, including development, and a $800 camera, and you can shoot medium format. Whereas if you wanted to shoot medium format, you know, digitally, if that's something you specifically want to do, then you're paying, you know, thousands of dollars, entry level, right?
Yeah.
Which I also
But is that
do
really
wanna
the
do,
part
but-
that you really like about film camera? Like,
Well, you asked me what makes it better. I think that is one thing that's one thing that you can say is objectively better.
okay. Okay.
In terms of like subjectivity, I like the workflow of film better than, like I was kind of talking about before.
Do you develop your own film?
No.
Okay.
I should. It's so expensive. I haven't gone to the lab in like 3 months maybe. Like I have a bunch of, and I haven't shot that much either. It's all sitting in my fridge because I'm too afraid to
Yeah.
go to the lab and pay for it. But basically, what was I saying?
Subjectively, what makes
Oh,
the-
subjectively, yeah. I like the workflow. So when I get my scans back from the lab, I just get it emailed to me. I have, you know, a limited number of photos. There's like 15 in a roll on this, 16 in a roll on this. And I'm like, okay, I have only these to work from. They're not all hits, so it's usually fewer than that.
Right.
So I already have a very small number. It's basically pre-culled, right? And then when I'm editing, it's not about putting a look into the photo. It's about bringing the look out of the photo. There's already like
That's
color.
deep.
Bro's deep. There's already like color and like a certain haze or a certain aesthetic or something that you've kind of created from your choice of film stock and your choice of camera. And it's more about just like making that, like enhancing that image rather than trying to take a raw negative, a neutral negative, not negative, like a raw photo, and like grading it, right? Which I find is like making the decision after the fact. It's almost too many options, and I get overwhelmed, and I find I just don't enjoy that process as much as editing a film photo.
Right. Would you ever consider going to digital more?
Absolutely, I would consider going back to digital more because it's expensive to shoot film. Bro, are you kidding? I'm honestly probably gonna do it at some point, is sell a chunk of my collection of film cameras and probably my 90D, and then get like a.
What would you get? What
would I get? Okay, I was thinking about this because I knew you were gonna ask me. I would probably go the Pavel route and buy I would buy a GFX, but like an older GFX, because that's probably the closest you can get to shooting film, like a medium format film camera and digitally. You know what I mean? I'd probably go for an older GFX or like a Nikon ZF or something like what Saif has, if I wanted to do, or like a X100V or something like that.
Okay, but I feel like if you like shooting film already, I think it makes more sense to go to Fuji, because that's why people get Fuji, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing I was talking about having the look kind of decided while you're shooting as opposed to in the editing process.
If you are getting an upgrade, what would it be? Like what
upgrade
would you get?
To a film upgrade or a digital upgrade?
Anything.
I'm honestly very happy with where my cameras are right now. Well, there was there was one thing, I'm trying to remember what it was. There was something I was thinking like, ooh, I kind of want one of those. Film camera that I was looking at, and I was like, oh, I kind of want one. I bought a 110 camera a little while ago. I broke it immediately, but it's like the smallest kind of negative of all time.
Wait, maybe I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's like the little like box. Did I show you that camera ever?
I think so.
It broke like literally 3 days after I got it.
So sad.
But it was $20.
Yeah.
But that camera was fun. So probably wouldn't be an upgrade. It would be just like more different things to try. You know, maybe a Polaroid i2.
Even then, I feel like, especially film cameras, they have such different personalities to it. Like when you just get like a Sony camera, for example, they kind of look the same, like the color-wise.
Yeah, you're getting roasted for your Sony.
I don't care. I like my camera, and like I take good pictures. Okay, that's all that matters.
You definitely do. You definitely use it well.
So,
I think. I was like originally when I was in like high school and I was like, I need to buy a new camera, and I got the 90D, and I was like, okay, my next thing is going to be a Sony for sure. I was like, Sony ride or die.
What happened? What happened?
What happened to my Sony? Well, I thought about it more, and I kind of my preferences and like my style I think has developed a lot since then, and like my interest in what I want to do with film, with photography in general, I think has kind of led me away from like what Sony's do, because they're good for video as well, which I have no interest in.
That's true. I think the biggest reason why I went to Sony first was, well, I got my A7 III. It was like my proper Sony camera,
Nice.
and then I only got it because I was thinking I can take videos and photo. I didn't really end up taking videos on my Sony A7 III, and when I shot videos, I didn't like it as much because I think, I'm not sure, I don't know too much about this, but it uses a different format than what is currently the industry standard.
Okay.
But the A7 IV has a different format.
Okay.
So then that's why I got it.
So now we're shooting video.
Kind of.
Now we're shooting log.
Kind of.
Now we're shooting
Yeah,
log.
we're shooting
Let's
vlog.
go.
Yeah, so that's
Tight.
that.
If we're talking like dream camera, that like money is not an issue, I would probably go for a Hasselblad.
Everyone's talking about Hasselblad.
I would go for a digital Hasselblad.
It looks nice.
Like I saw a video.
It looks so nice.
Do you know? I guess you probably don't watch a lot of film YouTubers. Probably there's a guy called Grainy Days, Jason. He's a good channel, and he's a film channel. But he did a video on, it was one of the recent releases of one of the recent Hasselblads, and and the photos he got with it, I'm like, bro. And the shooting experience, like the way he described it is like it's very conducive to like shooting like you would shoot on film.
Yeah.
And it's really, to me, it's like all about the shooting experience. I want it to be fun because I'm not doing it to make money. So I probably won't be able to afford a Hasselblad, but but maybe I'll rent one and try it or something. But
that's cool. Yeah, I've seen videos of Hasselblad and it looks really cool. And Pavel wants a Hasselblad too.
He owns a Hasselblad?
He wants.
Oh, he wants?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's his dream camera too.
Yeah, I would buy a digital Hassie for sure.
Hassie.
Hassie.
Okay, that's it.
That's it?